watching Clearfield TV, where thoughts matter.
Hi, everybody.
All right, guys, we're live. This is our first. Well, we're not technically live.
Yeah, we're recorded live.
Yeah, we're recording it, but we practiced everything like it was supposed to be live.
Yeah, so we could kind of get a feel for timing and seeing if we're actually ready.
Yeah,
I think we are.
We cleaned up our backdrop a little bit. We have some new overlays, some graphics, some websites to introduce. So work with us if it's a little bit.
Yeah, we got some technical stuff we're trying out here, so we're glad you're here anyway.
Just pretend I'm 95 and I got a smartphone for the first time. All right, that's
what is this?
Yeah, just use that level of patience.
There you go. So welcome to Clearfield TV once again. This is actually our episode 2.
Yes, sir.
And I am Steve. This is
I'm Dan Mencer.
Dan, and we are your hosts for Clearfield TV. And we're going to kind of try to pick up where we left off last episode. We talked last week about Dan's life, his history, where he's coming from, where he's going, kind of plans that we have for Clearfield TV. This week, I'd like to introduce myself a little bit, who I am, what I'm all about. That way, as we move forward through Clearfield TV and people follow along, they get to know us personally, because in the long run, we both hope to maybe run for public office at some point. And a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today kind of leads into that. One of the reasons why we're thinking about getting more involved in local politics. So that'll be interesting. So stick around for that. So,
well, before you get into the topic of the day, I want to thank everybody that watched our first episode.
Yeah, we did have a good viewership.
Very surprising, 300 and some views just on Facebook. I didn't check out YouTube or Rumble. I forgot until just now that we posted it other places.
Yeah.
So we do greatly appreciate everybody reaching out, commenting, because that's what this is about. It's not a Dan and Steve platform. While we do talk about maybe running in the future for things, we want this to be a Clearfield County platform, and maybe bigger. We don't know where this may become. I know we mentioned last episode about if it does get bigger than Clearfield, PA, then we would probably hyphenate and go like Clearfield and make it like 2 separate words. But that's still a host for Clearfield people. And talent and things. And so we want it to be a bigger channel. And so to be part of that is your comments, your likes, your shares. I know you hear all the YouTube channels and everything. They all say like, share, but it really means a lot when you do it, because that's a way maybe you're not willing to stand up in front of a camera and talk, but maybe you want us to talk about something. Let us know. Maybe you want to just say, hey, you enjoyed it. Put a like and share it on your page, because you reach a couple hundred people when you do that. And that's how we grow. That's how a small town thing can grow into something bigger.
And the way the algorithms work for all these social media platforms, including YouTube, is the more engagement a channel or a program or video has, the more that platform will show it to more people, because the algorithm wants people to stay on that platform. So if they find something that is interesting to people, they'll continue showing it to people. And that helps the channel grow kind of organically, where we don't have to, get out there and promote it and buy ads and all that kind of stuff. We want it to be, just organically grown channel. And that comes down to our viewership. And so, again, we appreciate everyone that's tuning in, that's following along, that's telling their friends about what's going on here with Clearfield TV. And we're excited. We're excited for what the future holds for us here. So,
all right, Steve.
Yes.
What says you? Where did your life take you to here? How did you get here?
Well, started a long time ago. I didn't actually go to school in the Clearfield area. I went to school in Phillipsburg.
Oh, I never knew this. I don't know if I can still do the show with you.
I lived just outside of the Clearfield area. I was in a different school district. So I went to school at Phillipsburg, Osceola. But then all my adult life, I've lived and worked and been involved with Clearfield, the town of Clearfield and Clearfield County in general. I got married at a young age, 19, 20 years old. Started going to church, gave my life to God at that point, and been trying to serve the Lord as best I can since then. Had quite a few things. Oh, bless you.
I muted my mic.
Oh, you did?
I muted my mic so nobody could hear me.
Okay. I have had quite a few things happen in my life that kind of knocked the rug out from under me. Sometimes I went through a divorce. We had lots of different kids come through our home through foster care. Dan was one of them. Actually, he was the first one foster care kid that we had, and it kind of got us started on that journey. So I've volunteered for a lot of things in my adult life. Obviously, work and all that kind of stuff too. But that's boring stuff. But volunteering is a big thing with me. Like, I really enjoy giving my time to help make things better, with organizations or with even downtown Clearfield. I've been on lots of boards and support organizations to help Clearfield be a little better community. And I really enjoy that kind of stuff. And that's something I really want to promote going into the future is volunteerism. And
well, one of your current big things that I know you're a part of is the I had it in my head. And,
you didn't
music.
Write, yeah,
I need to write
the corner
music.
concert.
The corner
series.
concert.
There you
That's
go.
What I
yes,
I was going to say concert at the corner.
Well, that's close. The corner concert series. We do that every summer, and that started out as just just an idea that we had to help raise some funds for a local business that needed some help, and it just kind of snowballed from there. Now every summer we raise money for a different local charity, and we have music at Lower Whitmer Park every Friday night between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and we call it the Corner Concert Series because it started on the corner right near the Shaw Library. Now we are at the Lower Whitmer Park under the gazebo right near the river. It's a real beautiful park there in Clearfield. And we have live music every Friday night through the summer. And again, we raise money for local charities. This year we're raising money for a nonprofit called Boxes of Hope. It's a lady that I actually graduated high school with, come to think of it. But she went through breast cancer trauma and all that stuff. And she decided to start a nonprofit to help other ladies that were going through the same things, and she calls it Boxes of Hope. So she packs up these little care boxes and sends them out, and just encouragement and help people through that whole process. So we're going to help her out this summer with the Corner Concert Series, and that's one thing I'm really proud of, that the Corner Concert Series has grown to what it is. And we have a lot of things in store in the future for that as well. So,
being that this is a kind of a Thursday program, I know we were talking about sponsors earlier. Maybe we can give the Corner Concert a spot for like advertising for, hey, tomorrow, Friday, will be.
Well, there you go.
I think that would be a good, because it is Clearfield TV, and that's I think a very big part of Clearfield. I know I've gone to a few of the Corner Concerts, but I definitely enjoy driving through town and seeing all the people, the music. I roll my windows down, and I really love seeing when community can get together. And it seems, especially on that kind of that neutral topic of music, and it's not really politics. It's not
we don't get into it's not like a rally or
it's nothing. It's just this time to take a deep breath and relax and come together as a community. And it really does a throwback for me. Not that I was alive in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, but it seems like we had more time for things like that.
Oh,
back then.
And that's one thing I've had people tell me at the Corner Concerts is they love just the sense of community. Because, when the band takes a break or, before or after the shows, everyone just kind of stands around and talks. And they talk face to face, and they talk to people that maybe they haven't seen since the previous Corner Concerts, the last year. And so people really use that time, to build that sense of community, because we're so separated by social media. We think we're involved in other people's lives, but
I always find it completely ironic how we have social media and all this technology to be connected. Like, that's the goal of our technology.
Connected.
But in reality, we have actually distanced as a species, as human beings. We have distanced. Now, granted, we can connect to people further away, and it's nice whenever
you can kind of have an idea of what's going on
for the weekend or something. For the weekend, like I go to California for the weekend, a vacation or whatever, and you can still stay really connected. Or through COVID, we were able to, but nothing beats. I always look at like fellowship for church. It's like nothing beats getting person to person, getting your butt in a seat, and going to church, and it's like there's
something
a real
something
tangible
powerful
thing.
about that.
It's like you get all 100% of that connection, not the loss of it.
And that's one of the
Digital.
reasons why we wanted to start Clearfield TV, and one among many reasons is to help people learn how to have conversations again. Like on social media, you might text somebody or send a message or whatever, but it's just short little blips of conversation. You don't really get into deep.
You lose context. Yeah.
Yeah, and then things tend to get taken out of context, and people get upset about something that you typed out, and maybe they took it wrong. Where if you're actually talking to someone face to face, you can understand a lot more. What they're trying to get across to you. So that's another reason why we started Clearfield TV. So it's more of a back and forth conversation about topics rather than just, this is what I believe and this is what you believe, so we're not going to talk anymore. Yeah, we don't want that.
So do you have anything more to add about yourself? Do you have any future ambitions other than Clearfield TV?
Well, Clearfield TV is a neat opportunity. I'm always looking for opportunities to get more involved with community stuff. But the idea of getting involved with local politics is not something that I really ever wanted to do, and up until a year or two ago. And there's some things that we're going to talk about today that kind of got me thinking. It's like I feel like I need to do more. I feel like I need to get physically involved in, even if it's helping someone else get elected. Whether I run for something or not, I don't know, but I feel like I need to get more involved, and that's kind of what led us into starting a channel like this, where we can talk about stuff, and people get to know us and get to know, what we're all about and all that kind of thing. So, I'm always looking for opportunities. I'm always looking for ways to volunteer to help the community be better, and that's pretty much what I'm all about. Whether it's at church or whether it's at corner concerts or whether it's at Clearfield TV. I just want to help. I want to be a part of making things better. So,
amen.
That's me.
I like it. So do we want to open up with the article?
Yeah, so we have, there's a lot of news-worthy stuff that's happening just within this past week. And Dan's going to try to pull the article up for us now. See if there it goes. So we're using Gant Daily News. Gant News. You can go to their website anytime, and you can look all this stuff up to yourself. But we thought we would pull this up and show you exactly what is going on in case you haven't heard. So there's the title right there. Clearfield County's Domestic Relations Director sends out an SOS due to staffing shortage. And this is an important topic, even if you think it doesn't affect you directly, whether you're involved with domestic relations or not. But because there's staffing shortages and because there's county money involved, it can affect you directly in the form of increased taxes for, if the commissioners decide to go that route, for increased expense and all that sort of thing. So we're going to talk about this real quick. And Dan, you want to read through the article here, and we'll break it down.
Clearfield, the director of Clearfield County Domestic Relations Section, is sending out an SOS message due to the office being short-staffed. "We are in survival mode," said Rick Redden in a meeting with local media on Friday. Currently, the office has 7 of its 19 positions filled and has another employee set to retire this summer.
Okay, so let's stop right there and think about that. There's supposed to be 19 positions in the domestic relations office. There is only 7 of those positions filled right now. So that means that about half of those positions are empty, which means the people that are in those positions have to do double the work.
Yeah, if not almost 2.5. If you really think about it.
Yeah. So that means that those people are overworked. They are not being able to fully service their clients to get them the services they need, which means that those clients are going to be struggling, and so it just snowballs. So the effect just keeps getting worse and worse. So that's the thrust of this story is, they're getting into panic mode because they're getting to a point where they can't do their jobs anymore, and it's going to start affecting everyone in the county. So that's why we're talking about it.
All right, I'll continue on here. It says, like many businesses and agencies, the DRS has problems finding employees during the pandemic. But Redden quickly pointed out that the problem is an ongoing one that for them is an ongoing one for them because the county offers such low wages. We are getting laughed at, he said, when people learn that the starting wage is $14.40 an hour for an enforcement officer. He also noted that one employee who has been with the office for 6 years still doesn't make $15 an hour. The position requires a college degree, counseling skills, and an extensive knowledge of the law. Getting someone from a temporary agency to fill in the gaps is not an option. So I wanted to stop there and talk about the qualifications needed for this position. And in another part of the letter, it talks about how you can go and work at like a local Sheetz or a store for $15, $16 an hour, and that's starting wage. With no college degree, and it's a very minimal, no offense to anybody that works at Sheetz or anything, but it's an entry-level job. I know it's busy and hard work, and I would never want to do it myself. I used to work at Unimarts back in the day, but for you to look at somebody and be like, yeah, you just spent 4 years in college to get a degree, probably other training for because they said an extensive background knowledge of the law. So probably 6 months there. And then I read somewhere else that you need 3 months of training that they provide, but it's like, so you have to also give in 3 months of training before you even start your job. So you have to pass stuff, even though you're paid for those 3 months, but you have to pass all that stuff too for $14.40 an hour.
Right. Yeah, and these employees that we're talking about, these are county employees, and they have a lot of responsibility. I mean, they're handling the Office of Domestic Relations, and we won't get into all the details about what that all.
Yeah, but they're handling
some major stuff.
The most stressful situations that could be involved in, whether it's kids and domestic violence or
they're right in the thick of it, and they're getting paid $14.50, 14 something an hour.
And if you look at the news, there's no shortage on issues, especially during the pandemic. Pandemic,
I like that.
Pandemic, yeah. During, you look at national statistics, and all those things rose. Yeah. So while all the problems and cases and issues are rising, we as Clearfield County are lowering our workforce, keeping our wage.
We're losing our important employees.
Yeah, and it's like, and then you were talking about that snowball effect. So it's like you're getting it from all sides now. So here, I'll continue if you want.
Yeah, yep.
All right, let me bring up the screen for the viewers here. So we talked about extensive knowledge of law. Getting someone from a temporary agent to fill the gaps is not an option. So they can't just get a temp. Which that's kind of common sense, but they threw it in there like we didn't know that. It takes months to train someone on their computer system, and he has found that other counties have been benefiting from this. We are training them, and they are taking them. Wow.
Okay, so our the Clearfield County the director here is saying, we're trying to train people, trying to get people up to speed to help us out here, but other counties are paying more to do the same work. So people,
we're a stepping stone. It's because, we train them up for $14.40 an hour because we're willing to hire anybody because we're not competitive. So we'll hire the new guy, if you want to call it. Well, then once he gets trained up, gets 6 months in, he can go somewhere else and make 16, 17, 18, upwards of 22, 23 an hour in some cases.
And we don't blame those employees for doing that. I mean, if you can increase your income, go for it. But it's putting Clearfield County in a pinch, and so that's what we're going to continue talking about it here.
One employee left because his new position would have him making $12,000 more a year somewhere else. The DRS, a division of Clearfield County Court of Common Pleas, works with families to first establish, then collect fees for child support, spousal support, and alimony. Normally, they have 6 enforcement officers and 1 enforcement supervisor. Right now, they have only 2 enforcement officers and no conference officers.
And that's bad.
I'm not fully sure what a conference officer is. I think they're more like in the office, like the enforcement officers go out in the field, and then the conference officers are more like meeting at the office, those type of things.
Right.
Their employees are taking on additional work to try and keep things moving, he said. If things continue this way, they will have to shut down the Du Bois office. The sad part of this situation is that there is state money available to supplement the salary of the employees, but this has to be approved by the county commissioners who so far have failed to sit down and talk with them about it. This is my problem. This is my big issue because I've known about this issue for about 6 months. Friends of friends and people that are involved. It's Clearfield. I'm sure all of us know somebody that knows
Small
somebody.
community, right?
But the issue is, so if there is supplemental money coming from a state or federal level, why aren't we taking advantage of that?
Mm-hmm.
That should be our first thing as county employees. Not that I want to take advantage of the federal government or the state government, but if it's out there, why not be grabbing that type of money? Mm-hmm. And then the last people we should be looking at to provide funds is Clearfield County, our taxpayers. They should be the last person on the hook. It's like Medicare, Medicaid, insurance, you have to bill everybody first, Mm-hmm. Insurance should be the last one. Your copay should be the last one that's touched and affected. But for some reason, and from what I've read so far, I haven't seen a response from any of the commissioners on this sentence. We've seen them dabble around it, and we'll get to some of those
they
letters.
haven't gotten into too many details. They have made a response since this article went up, but it's not.
But it doesn't speak to this.
They haven't
paragraph.
sat down and talked with the employees yet.
And that's my thing. Is the sad part of the situation? The state money is available, and so far they have failed to sit down and talk with them. I want to know why that is the case. Is the director of public relations,
domestic relations,
is he misinformed? Mm-hmm. Because maybe the commissioners did and they just didn't know about it. Maybe he doesn't know. So maybe there's some miscommunication there. Mm-hmm. But I think that the commissioners should speak on that paragraph. Did they reach out to the state to receive that funding?
Right.
Let me pull you back up here so you can read the article along with me. Currently, the state funds pay 66% of the salaries for the DRS, but this percentage can be increased.
Now, DRS is Domestic Relations Service. I think that's what it stands for.
Yeah.
Yeah, Domestic Relations.
Yeah, domestic relations. But this percentage can be increased. Redden pointed out these funds depend on the agencies meeting certain standards. So previously the county had been at 87% in its collections, but because of these staffing issues, the number has gone down. If it drops below 80%, they will lose state money and be more of a burden on taxpayers of the county. That's that snowball effect happening again. In the meantime, people are already suffering because Redden says it takes 3 or more days for staff to return phone calls, and inquiries can be put off by at least a week, which I'll tell you, when you're dealing with domestic relations, I've never personally dealt with domestic relations. I do foster, so I'm kind of in that ballpark with some of them people. When you need to get a hold of them, it isn't to ask for tea and cookies.
Right.
It's for a stressful situation.
Yep.
It is usually time sensitive, and it's
you're in a desperate. Yeah, you need something.
You're a plea for help.
You can't wait for days.
You can't wait for 3 days to a week. And
Right.
It's not anybody's fault. And I'm sure the county employees that are at the low level handling these phone calls feel that pressure.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get mad on the phone.
They
Why
wanna
didn't you
help.
call me back for 3 days? They
Yeah,
can't.
They want to help.
Because
but
I had
they're
another guy
they're
call
just
me 6
overloaded.
days ago. So let's finish this. We're going to be here all day if we don't read through this. There's a backlog of domestic-related court dates, which are already scheduled into April. Everything is falling apart, Redden said. So this is the director, and I don't discourage him asking for help.
Exactly.
Other letters and other articles have talked about maybe he shouldn't have went public. And it's like, well, maybe if the public knows about it, maybe we can get involved.
Maybe we can help.
Clearfield TV, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so everything is falling apart, Redden said. Because this problem has been building for years, Redden said now the bottom is completely falling out of the bucket. I don't know why we aren't getting a response from the commissioners, he said. We appreciate there are contract negotiations, but we have an immediate problem, and we have to address this issue. In a meeting, Court Administrator F. Cortez, or Chip Bell, noted that actually once the contracts are done, the employees' salaries will be locked in and they won't be able to use the state funds for incentives. Okay, so maybe we should be looking into those state funds now and not after the contracts are locked in.
Yeah.
And if you look at the letters from the commissioners, not that I'm just poo-pooing on the commissioners here, but they're more worried about getting the contracts locked in, it seems like.
Yeah.
But I may not be completely
Yeah,
informed.
that's what we've read so far. Anyway,
Yeah, that's what all the information we have. In a letter from President Judge Frederick J. Ammerman and Judge Paul E. Cherry, the commissioners dated February 9th, they quote a memo from the Bureau of Child Support Enforcement.
Now, this is all quoted from the Child Support Enforcement Program that he's going to read right now.
Correct. So Clearfield County has the responsibility to adequately staff the Clearfield DRS to effectively administer the Child Support Enforcement Program. So for me, let's read that sentence again. Clearfield County has the responsibility to adequately staff the Clearfield DRS to effectively administer the Child Support Enforcement Program. So they're saying that we have the responsibility to, but I guess I should have waited until we read the next paragraph. But it says many counties, so I got ahead of myself. Many counties, including Clearfield County, have performance incentive funds available to advance the effectiveness of the county child support program. BCSE supports the DRS decision to use incentive funds towards increasing salaries and overhead costs. This is a point that was brought up that there's actually already money available, not needing to ask more, we just need approval from the commissioners that we could incentivize, maybe give a $2,000 sign-on bonus, maybe because we can't obviously today offer higher wage than $14.40 because they have contracts and they have unions and things they need to work through. Mm-hmm. But according to the director and now the judges, there is incentive money that we're not using. Mm-hmm. I would like to know how much that is. I feel like there's a big number there. So I'm going to try and maybe I'll make some phone calls.
I don't know if that number's in the further on in the article.
I haven't seen it, yeah. But and maybe I just missed it. But I feel like it's a big number that could go a long ways. Because usually whenever numbers aren't used, they're big numbers. Mm-hmm. Just saying. My experience in the government. Mm-hmm. This letter also notes. Let me bring this up. This letter also notes that if the commissioners do not respond to their request this time, the judges authorized Redden and Bell to provide information and correspondence to the media.
Okay, so they were given the okay to go public with it.
Right. So they already were showing like, hey, we've been trying. Mm-hmm. And so the judges were like, well, hey, go public with it. Maybe you'll get a response. It's unfortunate that it takes something like this to get a response. When the commissioners were approached Friday afternoon, they had no comment due to ongoing union contract negotiations. Later, they asked for time to prepare a response, and they issued this statement Monday. The county is aware of recent public statements by the domestic relations officers concerning the compensation paid to various county employees. The county, and no offense to how they worded this, but you see how their focus, the first line of their letter, mm-hmm. is the county is aware of recent public relations concerning the compensation paid to various county employees. Whenever I read the letters, I hear that their biggest issue is we're falling apart here. We can't service our community. Right. We are understaffed. We need help. And then in there, it's the reason that is we can't get new employees because of the compensation. Mm-hmm. I don't hear people complaining, I need more money or I'm quitting.
Yeah, that's not their angle that they're taking. As far as the county employees, they're like, we want to help the people of Clearfield County, but we can't. We don't have enough people.
We need to have be competitive, and we'll get into like some salaries of other areas. Mm-hmm. But I love how that's the focus with the commissioners.
Yeah, the commissioners kind of twisted it and say, oh, you guys just want more money.
Well, and I feel like, and maybe that's the feeling they're coming from. Maybe they're just stuck. Sometimes you get stuck on a problem, and maybe in their head, they just want more money. Uh-huh. And it's like, well, maybe that's not where they're seeing it from. So I'm just maybe work at that, guys. Maybe. Okay. So anyway, the county is aware concerning compensation paid to various employees. The county is disappointed that they have chosen to raise these concerns in the media, as it has never been the practice of the county to bargain in the press.
Okay, let's stop there one time. So this is a response from the commissioners, three guys that run the county. They're saying the county is disappointed that this was taken to the media. The county is the three commissioners that they're talking about. Okay, the county employees are glad that it's gone to the media. That hopefully something will get done now.
The media is probably glad it went to the media.
Yeah.
The taxpayers are probably glad it went to the media.
The people that need the services that these employees provide are glad that it's gone public.
So
it's the commissioners that are upset that it went to the media and public.
Yeah. So when it says at the top of the page there, the county is disappointed that they have chosen to raise their concerns to the media.
It should say the commissioners.
The three commissioners are disappointed.
Right.
And it's and why are you disappointed?
We need to clarify that.
Right? And that's my thing. It's like, I've always been. I understand that some things need to be secretive in government, right?
Yeah, you have to hold things a little close to the vest sometimes until it's time to release
Right.
information. We understand that.
We understand that, but like I said, from what I've known, this has been going on for at least 6 or 8 months.
Well, even said earlier in this article that it's because it's been years that this situation it's gotten to this point. So it's not even months now. It's been
No,
years.
I'm saying like I think 6 to 8 months where they really started pushing it.
Well, yeah.
They were already bringing it up for years. The one letter says 2011 is where like they really started noticing the decline and we started these issues. But I heard about this. If it got to me, like I said, I'm not involved in any of this. I'm just a political conversationalist.
There you go.
That's a nice way to say it, a political gossiper. But and if it got to me 6 or 8 months ago, then it obviously has been inside of those offices for a year or two.
Oh yeah.
At the water fountain.
It's been an issue for a long time,
Yeah.
and we're just learning about it now.
Yeah, publicly, and they're saying you shouldn't have done that. Let me slap your fingers. The county, Anyways, all right. So the county is disappointed that they have chosen to raise their concerns to the media, as has never been a practice of the county to bargain in the press. While the county is sure that the intentions behind DRO's recent statements were admirable and reflective of a desire to advocate the valued county employees, the route chosen by the DRO simply undermines the intention and makes the achievement of fair collective bargaining agreements for county employees much more difficult.
So they're already trying to put the blame on the county employees for making this public. So in the future, if they say no, we can't give you any more money, then they'll say, well, then because it's your fault, because you messed up the negotiations. That's what they're leading up to. It's what it sounds like to me, anyway.
We're going to switch documents here in just a second because I want to bring up some evidence to counter this counter. Contrary to DRO's recent statement, the wages paid to these employees are competitive with, and in some cases higher than, the wages paid to the same employees in other comparable counties. So the county commissioners are saying, hey, DRO, quit being greedy, and your wages are comparable to everybody else's. Well, the DRO pushed back. Let me bring up.
We have numbers.
Oh, wait, let me figure out what I'm doing here, guys. There we go. So let me bring up this article over here, and they bring it up. This can be found on the WOKW. Let me find my mouse on the screen. There we go. So if you go to the WOKW website, here, I'm really impressed how they did, for a radio station, you wouldn't think they do a lot of like deep down,
Yeah, they've got some
coverage.
good information here.
But you go down to your news on the right side here, click more news, and it's done by dates, which I think is really neat how they have it. And under 2/28/22, they actually list all these letters that we were just talking about from Gant Daily News. And in one of the letters, it brings up, I think it was this one. No, it was the one from Redden, I think. Let me find it, guys. Sorry, I should have already had it kind of prepped and in the.
No, but the point is, all this information is available to the general public. I think people just kind of don't think to go looking for it, to go digging, but it's right out there for us by our local news organizations. They're doing an awesome job, Gant and WOKW. By having this information available, and we just want to encourage you as the general public. Read this stuff. We can't go over all this stuff word for word. We'd be here for hours.
Yeah, we'll read this Gant Daily article.
But if you're into this kind of stuff, it's all there. You can find it.
So let's remember that we're talking about, contrary to DR's recent statements, the wages paid to these employees are competitive with, and in some cases higher than the wages paid to the same employees in comparable counties.
Now that's a quote from the Clearfield County Commissioners.
Yep. So now let's go back over to, this is a letter from the judges' chambers. So this is from Judge Cherry and Judge Ammerman. And you can see right there that it's titled from them. And it's Dear Commissioner Scott Osobo and Glass. And in there, they point out that if you look, we are currently, as a comparison of compensation in Clearfield County's Child Support Office to that of the other sixth class counties is enlightening. So these are comparable counties. That's what that classification is. The starting salary for a conference hearing officer and an enforcement officer is $29,230.50 for 37.5 hours. I'm going to round that to 29,000 so that we don't have to work with exact numbers. Our caseload as of the end of January 2027 is 1,647. A sampling of starting salaries and caseloads in some of the 6 class counties are as follows. So Bedford County, 42,000, $12,000 more than us, and 14,000 more as a conference hearing with 35 hours and 989 caseloads. So a lot less caseloads, a lot more money. Crawford, 36,000, 35 hours per week, caseloads at 1521, a little below us. Bradford, 34,000, 50,000 for a conference hearing. That's $20,000. That's almost double the pay.
Oh my. To
go to Bradford for 5 hours more work, or no, for 2.5 hours more work and less caseloads. Mifflin County, 40,950, 30 hours.
You skipped Huntington.
Huntington, 54,000.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that one. That's double. That's almost, that's you're 6,000 away from double.
And again, these are by admission of the judges, these are comparable counties to Clearfield County as far as caseloads and population, and all that kind of stuff. They're matching apples to apples. Okay, not apples to oranges. And the same level of employees in those other counties are making a lot more money than our local Clearfield County employees. They're doing the same jobs.
So, and you wonder why we're a stepping stone to train employees and go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Because when you're new, you don't know all this exists. Yeah. But I guarantee once you get in the system, you meet other people. I guarantee Huntington talks with Clearfield and stuff because you're doing the same job in different areas. I'm sure cases overlap.
Sure.
I'm sure you have relatives in different counties. And they find out, just in general, I'm only getting paid $29,000 a year. That's ridiculous pay. I think that's below our average income for Clearfield County.
I think so.
I think we're at like 35, 36 is the average. The last time I checked, and they're paying at 29, and they're working with some of the most stressful situations you can outside of maybe being a firefighter or a police officer, and they're underpaid as well.
Yeah,
we're a stepping stone for Clearfield Borough Police. We're a big training thing there, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah, we're going. Don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
So let's go back to these real quick, and so we'll look. So we're Huntington at 54,000, 35 hours, caseloads at 1050, 40,000 for Mifflin County, 30 an hour for a conference hearing. Oh my goodness, $30 an hour. 36.25 hours, less caseloads. More money, Perry and Juniata, more money, less hours, less caseloads. Tioga County, more money, same amount of hours and less caseloads. Wayne County, 33,000, 37 and a half hours, 883 caseloads. Now, we will look at this other paragraph to be completely inclusive on things. Note that we have not received responses concerning the rates for Jefferson, Elk, or Clarion County. Rates of pay in Clarion, Indiana, and McKean counties are lower than Clearfield County. So now, there are
a few counties that are lower than Clearfield.
That are lower, but look at how many aren't. So we have 8 here that are substantially higher
as far as wages go and
workloads and caseloads. And then I wonder I wish they would have included their staffing as well.
Yeah, how many people they have working there.
Yeah, we're having 1,647 cases. But we're only running at an efficiency of 7 out of 19.
Yeah, less than half staff.
Imagine if Bedford is fully staffed, or maybe missing 2. Well, now that workload's even less. Yeah. So that workload isn't the workload of 19 people; it's 7 people.
Right.
So it's even more detrimental to the county employees. I can't believe those 7 are still working, and kudos to them for still doing it.
Thank you for doing your work, for sticking with it.
Do we want to? Where do you want to? You want to talk? Go back to Gant Daily? Or?
Is there more in that letter from WKW?
Let's look through it real quick.
So how are you guys enjoying this? Leave us a comment below right now. You don't have to keep switching back and forth. I can talk to the camera. Well, that's fine. But you can leave a comment below and let us know what you think about the show so far. Drop us a comment, a question.
Yeah, is it too much reading? Would you see like less articles, more articles? Do you like seeing our beautiful mugs on the screen? We actually moved the camera back. We broke a camera earlier just by us smiling.
It just kind of it kind of melted. Yeah, it was bad.
That's
fake news.
Don't
but leave us a comment below or around this video somewhere. Let us know what you think so far. We're going to continue this conversation. If you can't sit through a full hour program, that's fine. You know, come back and watch us later. But share this with people that you think might be interested in it, and let them know that, hey, we're trying to help here. Okay,
yeah, definitely. So let's go back to this article, and I love they put in this. So they're very honest, and they say, hey, there was 3 that were less. I do wish the judges would have put in the amounts for those less, because if it's only like $1,000, then to me it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
Okay, so as you are aware, the court wishes to use incentive monies from the Pennsylvania Bureau and Child Support Enforcement to supplement the salaries of our conference, hearing, and enforcement officers, as well as the director, deputy director, and supervisor. Incentive funds are not Clearfield County taxpayer monies and are earmarked for purposes such as increasing employee compensation. However, the court cannot do so without the consent of the commissioner.
So again, this letter is from the Clearfield County judges, from the court system, basically telling the commissioners, hey, there's money available. We want you to do whatever it takes to keep these employees and supply these employees and get more employees to fill those positions. The court can't do that. The court doesn't have that authority. The commissioners have that authority, and the court is putting pressure on them now to get this done. So that we're a little bit excited about that. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's something that the commissioners can respond to. And like I said, maybe there is. I'm not just
we don't know all the details. All we know is what we're reading here, and there's a lot more letters and stuff.
There's a lot more evidence.
We don't know what the conversations have been in the commissioner's office. So maybe they're doing all they can, and they might be up against a wall too. I don't know. But
so that's pretty much the end of the letter. They say, hey, there's some attachments. Please see them from the judges.
Yeah.
So
again, WOKW.com. And you can find all those things under the news listing. So
if we go back to, contrary to DROs, this is the commissioners.
This is on Gant News.
Gant News. Contrary to the DRO's recent statements, the wages paid to these employees are competitive with, and in some cases, higher than the wages paid to the same employees in comparable counties. I don't know where they get the word competitive with, because a lot of those pays were significantly higher.
Yeah, that's not competitive.
Significantly, unlike many other similarly sized counties, the relevant employees of Clearfield contribute nothing to their health insurance deductibles, and overall employee health care contribution rates are significantly lower than in many comparable counties.
Okay. Again, this is a quote from the commissioner's office. Yeah.
As a result, the county shoulders enormous health care costs each year. In 2021 alone, the county paid approximately $39,000 per employee for employees with family coverage. See, and I like how they're picking and choosing. This is a tax.
They'll give you the highest number.
Yeah, because they're saying, as a result, the county shoulders enormous health care costs each year. In 2021 alone, the county paid approximately $39,000 per employee for employees with family coverage. So that's people that are paying in for 4 and 5 people that have a full family coverage, which most people don't do, at least from my experience. I've helped a lot of people do healthcare stuff. And because, I work at Walmart. My spouse works at Lowe's. It's cheaper for him to get on Lowe's healthcare, and I get on Walmart's healthcare instead of a family package.
Right.
It's easier that way.
People know how to get the best deal, and so what the commissioners are doing right there, talking about that $39,000, they went through the list of county employees. They found the one that they're paying the highest for on health insurance. And they say, "See, we're paying too much.
$39,000.
We're paying too much for health insurance."
Approximately $39,000, which also tells me it's probably like $38,200. I'm just saying. Approximately $39,000. But
so they're trying to make it sound as bad as possible, so that they feel like it's out of their hands, like we can't spend any more money.
Right. Well, and let's see if they actually comment on the real question that has been repeated with multiple letters. Why aren't we using these extra funds to incentivize employment? So let's see here.
Okay, back to Gant Daily.
Yeah, back to the Gant Daily. Let me pull you back up here. The county regrets that DRO chose this route as it undermines delicate negotiations between the county and 6 different unions representing 6 different divisions of county employees.
Again, this route, they mean going public, going to the media with this issue.
It doesn't seem to hurt anybody else involved. Mm-hmm. Nobody else has complained in their letters. The judges, the county commissioners,
the judges
or the county workers, which are presently primed to result in significant. Let me take you off so you can see my face here. He goes, significant pay increase. As they're saying, they're in the pipeline for a significant pay increase.
But you people that went public with it, you're going to ruin it.
You're going to hurt that, and that's
what they're setting it up for.
Yeah, and that's my what I hear from that is the commissioners are saying, hey, now maybe we're not going to be as easy going with that. I hope that's not the case. But so he says,
For example.
Yeah, for example, as part of ongoing contract negotiations, the county has proposed increasing salaries of DRO employees to approximately $5,300 and the salary of probation officers by as much as $5,500 over the term of new collective bargaining agreements in exchange for relief from rising health care costs.
So it isn't even going to be an increase in pay. They're going to exchange for raising health care costs to get this increase in pay. That's what I'm seeing.
So approximately a new collective bargaining agreement in exchange for relief. Oh, no. What they're saying is we're going to give you a pay increase, but we're taking away some of your health care.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So in exchange for relief from raise, so you're going to get lesser health care. So really, are they getting an increase? No. And even though...
And this isn't even definite. This is like, for example, they're saying here, if you want to pull that up again, the commissioners are saying, because you county employees are making this issue public, now you're going to mess up the contract or the negotiations that we're in with your union representatives, and we were going to give you a raise in exchange for lesser health care. But now maybe not. So it's almost it almost sounds like a threat.
It sounds to me like maybe the commissioners are actually using this. So they're saying to bargain in the media, which it doesn't seem like that's the motive of DRO. And instead, it's actually a motive of the commissioners to bargain in the media, because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
That, to me, is
the commissioners didn't have to put those numbers out there.
They didn't have to sit there and say, well, you might be hurting negotiations. Nobody said that over there.
No.
Nobody said, hey, we're in negotiations. Nobody said, hey, we're asking a boycott. We're asking the support of the county to put pressure on the committee. There's nothing there that seems like we are.
The county employees are saying, hey, we're desperate. We need help. We need the commissioners to do something. And the commissioners is like, well, you shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
That's not.
That hurts my feelings.
That's not how it works.
All right. Let's continue on. So by law, let me go all the way to the top here. By law, the county cannot raise the wages of these employees except through negotiation and execution of collective bargaining agreement and other bargained instrument.
Thank you, unions.
Yes, thank you, unions. Any negotiated wage or benefit
I'd be
increases.
sarcastic.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a 30-second rant.
Okay, let's rant.
A Dan rant. That's a whole new thing.
Write that down.
Dan rant.
We're going to call that another, like a clip it. Yeah.
But yeah, like a clip it.
Seriously, I'm going to write that.
I'm a huge fan of the idea of unions. The definition idea of a union. Mm-hmm. I've had many arguments.
We understand the concept of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and back in the day when unions were first created, I think they were definitely needed. I think they were something that really put power back into the common day people. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, I think, and I'm not saying all unions, so there probably are some good ones.
We're stepping on touchy
I'm stepping
ground
on a lot
here,
of funding if I ever run for a political office here. But I think there are a lot of unions out there that are more caring about the union as a company, we'll call it, as an organization, than the people they represent.
Right.
And what collective they can do as the union, the people running it, compared to the people they support. And I think a lot of people that are in unions really don't know what they're in. Mm-hmm. They don't understand.
They're excited to be part of a union because they're part of a group that represents them, but most unions...
Well, what do they do for you?
Yeah, you're paying union dues or whatever.
Do you have a voice in it? I know people that have gotten laid off from jobs and still have to pay their union dues while they're laid off, which you don't have a job, so how can you pay for your union dues? First of all, I think that's a union specific thing. And then if you don't, you can't be rehired when it comes time to be when you're late.
Yeah, you're not part of the union, so you can't be rehired.
You can't if you're back due 3-4 months on union dues because you've been struggling because you've only gotten half of your income for the past 6 months. Especially during COVID and stuff. Now you can't get hired back because you didn't pay your union dues. Mm-hmm. So who's really keeping you from working in that moment? Right. The union, not the job. And it's just unions for me, I think have kind of gotten out of control. I think they've become almost like big business.
I mean,
or big
there's a place for employee representation,
Definitely.
obviously, but yeah, it can get corrupted just like any other group.
Right.
So we need to be careful of that. So that was Dan's rant for the
So
day.
yeah, comment in there.
Yeah,
I know.
let us know how
some
you
of you
feel.
are part of unions. Teach me, learn me up. Maybe I need some learning.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that. All right, let's go back to this. So we can maybe get this under an hour. We're at like 50 minutes now.
Oh, we're
so.
good. We're good.
This goal cannot be
Must be
Any negotiated wage or benefit increase must necessarily contemplate the county and its employees as a whole, and must appreciate the county's responsibility to ensure that fair and competitive wages and benefits are available to all county employees.
Okay, so what they're saying right there is
this lawyer speak.
Yeah, what the commissioners are saying right there, at least what I'm getting out of it is, you employees with the domestic relations office, you're not the only county employees, so you shouldn't be crying about low wages. There's other county employees out there too that we have to take into consideration. That's what the commissioners just said.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad you explained that because I read it and didn't understand.
Yeah,
So
contemplating,
that
blah,
must
blah,
have
blah,
been the difference
whatever.
between Phillipsburg and Kerwin. This goal cannot be accomplished unless the county structures its negotiations to account for rising health care costs and ensure that sufficient funds are available to provide all county employees with fair wages and robust benefits. And this goal is not served by public undermining of negotiations, employee morale, and county strenuous efforts on this front. Boy, they seem to be going back to that again. 3 times they've mentioned that in separate paragraphs. Finally, the commissioners wish to emphasize their fiduciary role to the taxpayers of Clearfield County. Any changes to wages creates an increased pension liability, which will have to be funded for decades, even though we can supplement some of that income with other funding. Presently, the county pays over $700,000 annually toward the county pension. This is 100% county taxpayer money, and it is already projected to increase over time. So
if you don't know what a county pension is, can you explain that, Dan?
yeah, county pension, you retire.
Yep.
And you get your retirement benefits. Maybe it's healthcare related. Usually, it's a form of a weekly or a biweekly or monthly paycheck, and it's usually a percentage of your wages. My big deal is if they're talking about, well, hey, it's going to change the pension and what the pension is. Well, I'm sure that's also negotiated in your union contracts. So why not make a deal and talk to them and say, hey, we can't provide you the pension we used to. Maybe the old pensions were 100%. Maybe the guy making, I'm just
we don't know what they
spitballing,
have negotiated in the past.
He's making $40,000 a year, and now his pension for the last 30 years of his life are going to be $40,000 a year. Well, maybe we can't do that anymore. And talk to the people and be like, hey, we can pay into a 401k program with you. We can match at 1%.
Yep, whatever percentage they want to negotiate.
And do it that way. And then once you retire from our facility from Clearfield County, you have your 401k. We're not paying in to a pension. That's what most places do.
Right.
They don't, provide that. Now, maybe people still want a pension. Maybe that's something, but then you need to work that out as a negotiator with a union. But I feel like most employees would be okay with getting rid of a pension, supplementing it with a 401k mutual buy-in system like most places do, 1%, 3%, 5%, and you can do that as an option. So that's still not much, and that's current cost, and probably could be supplemented with some of that money because I feel like that supplemental income money from the state doesn't pay for pensions because they're not county employees. They're retired county employees. So if we do it now and incentivize through like 401ks, I bet you that money would go towards funding that because that is a paycheck. That is, so we wouldn't have to worry about
that's a lot of stuff that people don't normally think about, think about retirement and all that kind of stuff. But basically what the commissioners are saying is if we pay our county employees more now, that means that we'll have to pay more later in these retirement pension benefits, and that's going to be a bigger cost to the county. So they're already setting themselves up. It sounds like they're ready to tell the county employees no.
Right. Yeah. It's like this is going to be their
It's
scapegoat.
like they're giving them all the reasons why we can't give you an increase in pay, and hopefully they don't make that decision.
Well, and that's if they do, then this will be a negotiating thing through the press. This will get bigger, and we're hoping to interview people. We'll see if people want to. I don't know if we're a big enough platform. Hint, hint. Anybody watching,
share.
Try to get a big enough platform so that we can be part of that talk, because we'll ask real questions. That's one thing I'm not going to sugarcoat
We're not in
for
county.
anybody.
We're not county employees.
I'm not. Yeah, we own our own businesses. I'm not accountable to anybody other than my wife, and even with that, I'm definitely accountable to my wife. So I was gonna say not really. I was waiting for a hand to
try to make a
pop
joke
out.
about it. Like
I have
that,
PTS. My hair is getting like Jerry curl.
Oh man,
it's crazy. I just watch
you
my
just
hair.
see it bounce.
Yeah,
I don't have that problem.
Yeah, it's like I gotta get a haircut. I'm lazy.
Anyway, sorry.
But anyways, yes. Dan ran over.
Rabbit.
So massive,
squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel.
Rabbit trail. Okay,
So,
anyway.
let's go back to this article. Massive wage increases to other departments would likewise come out a general fund, inevitably result in a tax increase. And it's funny how they're really using this tax increase button when they're also wanting to raise and I'm not going to get all the wording right, but the percentages for local taxes. I don't know if you heard about that, like how the commissioners want to raise what schools and boroughs and townships can raise it's the points.
Their mills.
Yeah, the mills. That's the word I was looking. Mills. I was thinking points in my head. And so it's funny how
I think what the commissioners are doing here, again, this is an opinion show. We aren't the news. So my opinion, my thoughts on this is, because our thoughts matter.
Definitely not the news. Because our thoughts matter.
Yeah.
That's why we really did this, so that we could feel like our thoughts matter.
Yeah. But what it sounds like to me, what the commissioners are saying here in this last sentence that Dan just read, massive wage increases to other departments would like. Nobody's talking about massive wage increases, for one thing.
No.
Nobody said we want. Nobody said we want $1 million a year. They said we want more than $14 an hour.
Yeah, maybe 16. I bet you if you went to them and said, "Hey, let's do starting salary at 16,"
they'd be like,
that would incentivize people to stay in Clearfield County.
Yeah, because that's okay.
That's decent.
It's better than minimum wage.
And then plan it out like, hey, maybe every year there's a 50-cent or something. Or I like dollar amounts.
Yeah, they can negotiate all that. But anyway, the massive wage increases. Again, this is a quote from the commissioners. Massive wage increases to other departments would likewise come out of the general fund and inevitably result in a tax increase. So basically what I'm reading into that is, because this topic, this issue has gone public, they've gone to the media with it, and now we're talking about it, the commissioners are going to say, well, the public doesn't want tax increases, obviously, so we're going to say,
shut it down.
We're going to say, because our county employees are being greedy, we might have to give a tax increase, which means the general public, like us, that are reading these articles, like, no, I don't want a tax increase. Don't give those county employees more money.
Hot button issues.
That's where they're twisting and turning. And so we got to be careful.
And so if we look over
read
here,
between the lines.
Let me find the article, the actual letter from the commissioner.
That's another.
Clearfield County Domestic Relations section. Oops. Is this the one from? Who is this from? Sorry, guys.
Which one's you looking at?
The one from the commissioners.
Oh yeah, that'd be a
County
good one to
Commissioners
read.
Press release. Okay, so let me cut over to here now. I'm going to read quickly through this, guys, because a lot of the information has already been stated in the Gantt Daily article. But the county is aware of a recent public statements, domestic relations. So this is the press release from the commissioners.
The commissioners, this is what their official statement is.
So the county is aware of recent public statements by the Domestic Relations Office concerning compensation paid to various county employees, which isn't what they said. The county is disappointed that they have chosen raise concern in the media and never been practice of the county to bargain in the press. While the county is sure the intention behind the RO's recent statements were admirable and reflective of the desire to advocate for valued county employees, the route chosen by DRO simply undermines the intention and makes achievement of fair collective bargaining agreements in the county employees much more difficult.
I wonder if Dave Glass is the one that wrote this.
I don't know. It sounds like it might be. Contrary to DRO's recent statements, the wages paid to these employees it's an opinion show, guys. Remember that.
Yeah.
Employees are competitive with, and in some cases higher than the wages paid to the same employees in comparable counties. Significantly, unlike many of the similarly sized counties, the relevant employees in Clearfield, I went to the next sentence. Clearfield contribute nothing to their health incentive deductibles, and overall, employee health care contribution rates are significantly lower than in many comparable counties. As a result, the county shoulders enormous health care costs each year. In 2021 alone, the county paid approximately $39,000 per employee for employees with family coverage. These rates and the county's corresponding burden is set to increase even further in 2022. Like inflation's not a thing, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The county regrets that DRO chose this route. It goes into about the $5,000 they were going to increase. Any negotiated behalf increase must necessarily be compatible. We just read that. Finally, commissioners wish to emphasize the fiduciary role. So this is all they wrote. I just wanted to show you this article to kind of show you that Gant Daily didn't leave anything out. It's almost word for word.
Yeah,
the whole entire,
they took it right from that press release.
I don't see anything that they didn't put in there. So with that, where was the commissioner's response on this other funding? So you have a director who's doing their job, who has reached out to the commissioners beforehand, no response. Reached out to the judges. The judges said, hey, you're right, you've reached out, there's been no response. If you need to go to the media, maybe that'll help. So they go to the media and they publicly release a statement saying this. And then when the commissioners do publicly reply, they go, bad for you, you're going to be grounded if you keep up this work.
You shouldn't have told on us.
And they don't reply to the big thing that was pushed by not just the judges, but by the workers. Why can't you work with this extra money?
There's supplemental funds
from
the state that are available. Why can't we use that?
Where's that response? So I don't know.
So that's the question or the answer that we're going to wait for from the commissioners here in the next week, and maybe we'll be able to talk about it in next week's show.
Maybe they'll want to come on to our show. I will invite the commissioners. We have no problem with it, but this is where we'll play the media, and if you want, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble is where we're on. I'm not sure how it all works. Remember, I'm 95 with a smartphone. If you can tag them or send it to them or something of that nature, ask them to respond. It doesn't have to be on our platform. Maybe they'll do another public release. I just would love to know what they have to say about those supplemental funds. If DRO is correct, and there is, and the judges are, I just feel like they wouldn't have said those things if they didn't do their homework, and the judges wouldn't have backed them. I really find that hard to believe. I've worked with some of the judges before, and they don't seem to get into stuff too quickly. They don't just reply to things. And for them to put out a stamped letter stating that.
Yeah, that's what got me excited about this whole story. Whenever I saw that, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is big. This is a big deal.
And like we said, I'll switch over again. You can find, so this is a letter from the director of the DRO, Rick Redden, to the judges. You can see a reply from that's another letter from him. You can see the one we looked at from the judges to the commissioners. Here's another one that shows the current positions that should be filled. And look, you go down at vacant, and you can see.
Yeah, I mean the proof is all there. I mean it's not like the DRO. DRO, is that what they call it?
Yeah, the Public Relations Office.
Yeah, it's not like they're making this stuff up, and it's not like they're just complaining because they're not getting paid enough. That's not, to me,
it doesn't seem like
that's not the gist of their complaint. To me, it's like they want to do their job. They want to do the best job they can. They want to service the people of Clearfield County with...
There's 7 employees where there should be 19. That alone is unacceptable. Yep. It's been going on since 2011.
And the reason that is because they're not getting paid enough.
Right, and it's a stepping stone mentality. And and granted, maybe, I was going to say, I just realized they've been around that long. I was like, well, maybe it's not these commissioners. Maybe it's something the old commissioners start. But these commissioners have been around for quite a long time.
Several years.
It's very, maybe not 10 years. If it's been going on since 2011, that's 10 years. I don't think they've been around for, I have to look.
Scotto's relatively new. Glass is relatively new.
Sobel's been around for a while.
Sobel's been around a while. So I'm sure he's heard of this story before.
And remember, guys, he's running for state rep.
Yeah.
He's
and
not going to be our
That's another
commissioner.
story we'll bring up maybe in another episode too. Is we'll talk about that
and
how that all
hopefully
played
that
out.
things like that won't carry over. Not that I'm discouraging his run. I'm not sure who he's running against.
Yeah, we don't know these people personally. Like I don't.
I've met Sobel a few
we're
times.
not
He
gonna say
seems like a
anything
very nice guy.
personal against any of them.
Scotto, I've met. I know he.
It's just all we're doing is looking at the evidence, and we're what the local news is reporting, what the judges are saying, what the domestic relations office is saying,
and next week,
and what the county employees in general are saying. That's all we're looking at, and and we can't do nothing about it. Like we don't make those decisions.
Not yet.
That's the commissioner's job, and so hopefully.
And if they reply to it, and we get more,
not yet.
not yet, right? Hint, hint. It's. And if they do reply with more information that counters these arguments, then hey, we'll lean more towards hey, we can't use those supplemental funds because of X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Okay, well then that's off the table.
Well, then that's off the table.
Let's figure out a better way to do this. Yeah.
We're gonna have. I don't know if I want to do this as we're talking inside baseball here, guys.
We're a little over an hour here.
Yeah, so we're
gonna close up.
We're gonna
shortly,
close up, but I've been really intrigued with going through the public records, accounting records of the Clearfield County government. And it shows like every department, they buy printer supplies and all this stuff. And I think I'm going to make I think it should be like a separate episode, like a special episode. Just to go.
Talking about copier paper. That's something that it just drives him nuts for some reason.
I've worked at many, one of my,
like copier paper they buy.
God has granted me the ability of an analytical brain. And every place I've ever worked, including my own business, I'm able to go in and I'm able to see like, why are we spending money on this stuff? I worked for
where's the waste?
I worked for a pretty big company, a nationally known oil company that rhymes with Chevron, and we had an office out in Pittsburgh that we worked for security, and we had 4 vehicles that went around and checked gas well sites, and they all had a printer in them. Mm-hmm. And then in the office, there was about 8 other printers in the office. And every time we needed to get ink for our printer, we would email our boss or call in. And they're like, okay, yeah, just stop at Staples and buy an ink cartridge and write it off in use the card and write it off. And I went in the one time to the office thinking like, well, I'll pick up one here because I'm sure that's more expensive. Like I was actually trying to save the company money just because that's my way my brain works. I was like, well, while I'm in the office, hey, our ink's low. Let me get one off of you. Oh, we don't have any here. You have to run to Staples. Well, I said, well, when you need an ink cartridge, what do you do? Oh, we send somebody out to Staples. I'm like, so you have 13, or it was 8 and 4, so it's 12 printers that every time you need an ink card, and they're all the same. So it's not like we have different ones for different reasons and purposes. Every time you need an ink cartridge, you go out to Staples, you pay $54.99 for an ink cartridge.
You're paying full retail.
Full retail, one. I said, why don't, I looked on Amazon in like 5 seconds, and I was like, you can buy 1,000 of them, and it breaks down the price to like $13 an ink cartridge. They're like, but we're going to have 1,000 ink cartridges. I was like, and then you have 1,000 ink cartridges. You're going to use them anyways.
Yeah, you're buying them anyway throughout the year.
Now, if you do look at the numbers and maybe like that's 12 years worth of ink cartridges, well, maybe that's too many. Maybe buy 500 or something. But it's like, why don't you buy in bulk? Why don't you buy at a higher level to get a price reduction? Why don't you negotiate with local businesses to get price increase? Do some free advertising. There's ways to around things, especially when you work as a county. Like you're not.
Yeah, you have a little bit of buying power.
Joe Schmo.
You should be able to negotiate lower prices.
If you look through, I'll give you some homework if you're into numbers. Go on to the commissioner's website and you can look up those, bring up those records, and you look through and it's like, for printer supplies, it's like each department's like $2,000, $5,000, $8,000, $12,000, $13,000. So we're paying collectively as a county upwards probably of $100,000 to print things in an age of digital media,
right?
Where we email everything. What are you printing? What do people print anymore? Yeah. I don't know. For me, I don't really print anything.
So that's a good point, Dan. Just the idea of just saving money on printer paper or ink cartridges for the county might be enough to cover the cost of getting some good compensation for our county employees.
Well, and if you
cut the waste and use that money to keep good employees on the rolls.
I don't know what the county budget is, or what we spend money in. Like, I don't know the full number. Like, the Clearfield County as a whole spends X amount of dollars.
No, we are going to go through the Clearfield County website sometime. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll make an episode of that, and we'll show you, where all that information is, what links work, what links don't work. And there should be some information on there that
gonna hear
isn't
me upset
necessarily
that
on
day.
there. So that'll be a good show. But
If we're able to save say the budget's $10 million. Say we spend as a county $10 million on stuff. If we're able to save 1% of that, which isn't a hard number. I mean, imagine going to the grocery store and you have a $100 grocery order and you're going to save 1%. That's $1. Find a way to save $1 on your $100 grocery order. That's easy. So to find 1% in waste is not hard in almost any area of life. If we have a $10 million budget we're spending money on and we save 1%, that's $100,000.
$100,000
We're able to
save.
Then we take that $100,000.
And this is all just
we divide it by
hypothetical
those
numbers.
17
We don't know,
employees.
but-
We buy those 7 employees, and now we can increase their pay $14,000 a year because we saved $1 or 1% on expenditures on the county level.
Yeah, depending on what the budget is. We don't know what the top budget number is.
We're
so
able to take
that's
a
just an example.
$32,000 a year employee. If we were able to save that money, and I bet you it's bigger. I bet you.
Yeah, it might
I
even
bet
be
you we
bigger.
spend more than $10 million. I just feel maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but we spend like $80,000 on printer paper. So
Yeah.
But so we're able to take a $32,000 salary and bump it up to $46,000. Or they were $28,000, weren't they? 28.
Yeah, 20 something. I
Yeah,
forget
28,
exactly.
38. So it'd be like $42,000. Bet you wouldn't have any complaints. Bet you we would be keeping people if we
I
could
bet
just
people
say.
wouldn't be moving to other counties.
So
for it.
why are our commissioners, and this is one thing, and it's not just our commissioners alone, this is almost every politician I've ever met, ever talked to, ever heard on TV, why are we only worried about increasing taxes and bringing in more money?
That's always their go-to answer. It's like, if we increase spending, we're going to have to increase taxes.
Why? There's 3
No.
options.
Yeah. There's
Increase
another option.
spending.
Get rid of
Well, yeah, there's
waste.
2 options. If you increase spending, it's increase taxes or lower our waste. Cut things places. And
Cut waste.
we should have an audit of a system. I think there should be a position in every government building that is like an auditor.
They're the gatekeeper.
They're like you always watching like the police shows whenever internal affairs comes to the police station, everybody hates them. That's how that person should be.
Yeah.
And it should be somebody like myself, not that I'm trying to rally for this position, but if I ever become commissioner, maybe that's a position I would create and then get elected into it after I'm done being commissioner, is to be the guy that goes through and go, hey, why is your office of 2 people spending $5,000 on printer paper, but the office of 10 people over there is only spending $1,000? What's the difference? Not that you're wrong. What can we learn from it? Because if you go down through the breakthrough, it doesn't seem like we're using the county as leverage for buying power. I have a feeling, and I don't know who I can talk to get this. I think I'm just going to take a tour because it's a public building. I think I'm going to take a camera, and you're not allowed into the judges' quarters, the court part of the courthouse, but you're allowed in anywhere else. I think I'm going to take a camera, and I'm going to start asking some questions. And it's like, does each office pay its own bills? So when we buy printer paper, since we're on that rant, does the county courthouse building buy bulk printer paper and it gets delivered on a truck? Or does each individual office buy 10 reams a month of printer paper? Because if we're doing it that way, I guarantee you could probably shave off 40 to 60% just on that one item, just by going bulk.
Yep.
And that's the kind of stuff we need to start thinking about, especially with inflation being high, especially with the pandemic putting pressure on things and prices have gone up. We have public shortage of things. Are we working with Clearfield Wholesale Paper to buy certain products? Or maybe there's other, I always forget their name, but there's another one in DuBois that's probably part of Clearfield County. Are we taking our money and putting it into Clearfield County? These are the kind of questions that I hope we're able to talk about with some of the upcoming elections that are going on.
Right.
Are we feeding our community? Because if you want to sow, it's sowing and reaping. It's a principle in the Bible, but it's a principle in business, and it's a principle in our everyday life. If we want to have success in a certain area, we need to sow into it first. So if they want to be financially responsible and fiscally responsible, they need to start sowing into that. And that's, you got to look at yourself.
Right.
Before you start any problem, whether it be a marriage problem, a financial problem, a problem with your boss at work, you should look at yourself first.
Yeah.
Honestly,
what am I
look
doing
to
myself
yourself.
that I can fix myself before I try to fix somebody else?
Well, and are the problems that I'm upset about, is it only my reactions?
Yeah.
Am I wrong in how I'm handling my reactions to the problem, not the problem itself?
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of deep stuff.
it is deep
And
stuff,
we
but I
can't
think
get
that's a
that
good
all
ending.
in one show.
I think that's a good ending.
We're going to have to write this stuff down and take notes. And
I'm full of it, Steve. The wife, it's a compliment. The wife tells me it's a tuned. She always tells me I'm full of it. So it's right. That's what I mean.
yeah. So, thanks for staying tuned and paying attention as long as you have, if you're still here. And please share this with everyone on your social media pages. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. It's free to subscribe. I don't know why they call it subscribe. It's I always think of a magazine subscription.
It feels like it would be.
Yeah, but it's free to subscribe. And then that way, when you do subscribe to our channel, whether it's on YouTube or Rumble, you'll get notifications whenever we go live. And that's what we want. We want people to be here live with us and chit chat back and forth. And that's one of the ultimate goals here. So thank you for being here at Clearfield TV, where thoughts matter. Hopefully you've enjoyed episode 2, and we'll be here again next week with episode after 2, 3.
Is that Phillipsburg education?
That was Phillipsburg. Sorry.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye.
You're watching Clearfield TV, where thoughts matter.